Welcome, XIAOMI is a Poco F2 Pro, and today I will show you a brief unboxing along with an overview of the device. So as you can see, this is the I guess highly anticipated follow-up of the first F1. Let's pop it open. Now the packaging is basically the standard XIAOMI packaging, nothing more to expect here. Let's pop it out. So here we got some paperwork. Let's just pop that open, SIM eject tool, a case, which is actually a hard case, so I'm gonna set it to the side, and some paperwork that no one cares. Then we get inside the phone, pop it out. Now it does come normally in the foil, but I already have set it up, so I didn't really bother putting that back on. And on here we only have just the basic information, so Snapdragon, AMOLED display, 64 megapixel AI camera, 8K video, and the battery. So just as a typical info. Put that to the side. Then inside, under this, we get the charging cable, obviously. Take it out, there we go. So it's just a normal Type A to Type C with a, it looks like dark orange marking on here. And I assume the brick will have the same thing, or not. The brick has just a white port in here. Now the brick, I believe, is a 30 watt power brick, and let's just make sure that I'm correct. So 15 max 33 watts. So yeah, there's a 33 watt brick. Just slap that back in here. There we go. Clean this up and get it out of the way, and get the phone in the view. So the device itself has a 6.67 inch display without any kind of notch or obstruction on the display. That's based on the fact that it has a mechanized camera. So if I open up the camera and the selfie, you'll see that this thing pops up right here. It also comes with a couple things like the ability, as you can see, it's right here, with the security that if you drop it, it basically hides it. And just so you can see it again, I'm not trying to press anything, it just automatically hides. Now, first time I seen this was, I believe, on OnePlus. And on there it was giving us a notification that due to the phone falling or stuff like that, it just basically retracted the camera. Here you don't get anything. Now going back to the display, it's a 1080p by 2400 display with a 87.2 screen to body ratio, percent screen to body ratio, and 395 pixels per inch. So just a typical, I guess, just a mediocre display in terms of pixel density. Nothing special. I don't really consider that you need more in here, honestly. It looks good enough. And it has also a Super AMOLED display, so you'll get those super deep blacks that, for instance, you might be used to seeing on Samsung. So anything that is, for instance, black, or like this background is black, it's not even lit up right now. So if you were, for instance, to turn off a light and hold the finger kind of in that full darkness, it will look like you're just having a couple floating windows here. So yeah, Super AMOLED is a really nice part of this device. And then front and back, you have a Gorilla Glass 5, if you were wondering. Now, unfortunately, even though it has Gorilla Glass on the back, as you can see, it doesn't have Qi charging, so you're only stuck with the wired charging. I'm personally not too bummed out about it for the price that you pay, which is fairly respectable for the device that you get. I'm willing to skip out on the wireless charging. I personally don't use it that much on my device, and yeah, I don't really see it as a downside. And the charging that you get here is a 30 watt quick charge 4 Plus, which advertised gets you 100% from zero and 63 minutes, so a little bit over an hour. So fairly quick, although I'm pretty sure there is right now phones that will blow it out of the water in like 30 minutes or something close to that, so it's not like you get that amazing charging. But then I'm never in such a hurry to get my devices charged as quickly as possible. So getting back to the specs, apart from the display, I get the camera. Now the front one that you've seen that I popped up was a 20 megapixel wide sensor that can shoot at 1080p at 30 frames. And then the device comes with a built-in 6 or 8 gig RAM and 128 storage or 256. Now depending which one you choose, you will have several different factors to this. So this one I believe probably is 120, but let me quickly check. Yeah, 120 and 6 gigs, so it's the low spec. Now because of that you also get slower RAM. Now the device has two different variants of RAM. If you go for the 8 gigs, you will have the faster device actually. So the 128 6 gigs has a LPDDR4X, and then the 8 gig one with 256 storage has a LPDDR5, which is 1.5 times faster than the 4X, and basically is able to transfer about 50 gigs of storage per second. Now keep in mind this is just in a RAM part. It doesn't it doesn't mean that you can, for instance, copy your data from computer or somewhere to the device. It's more of a readability and transferring, just RAM based. So anything that is local in the storage and phone needs to remember. And apart from that, the storage itself that you have, the 120 or 256 gigs, has a UFS 3.1. So you also get a blazing fast storage equivalent to like an SSD on your computer. So this is a super big plus on here. Now unfortunately, I believe there is no SD card slot, so let me just quickly check it just to be sure. Let's pop that up, and yeah, we only have the dual SIM tray. So if you get the 120 gig version, that is all you get. If you need more storage or you think you might need it, I would advise you to go with the 256 rather than the smaller one, because you can always not use the storage that you have, but you will never be able to get more if you use all the 128. And also, apart from that, the device has a 4700 milliamp battery, so also not the biggest one, but I believe it should be fine enough for this device. It doesn't have such a massive resolution to need anything more, I would say. And also things that we cannot see at the moment, as weirdly enough it does come with a headphone jack on top. You don't get any kind of headphones with it, but then I probably wouldn't want to have headphones from that come with the box, unless it's like Samsung AirBuds as an example. So apart from that, if I'm using wired headphones, I probably will want to use my own rather than have some cheap headphones being provided in the box. But that's just me. And also another thing that you cannot see is the under display fingerprint. Now if I want to show it, I'll actually need to first set it up, and we can also see how quick it works. So fingerprint unlock, let's set it up. Now while this is going, we can go through the specs of the cameras. So the main sensor is a 64 megapixel wide sensor. Then you have a 5 megapixel telephoto lens, and then you have a 13 ultra wide and 2 megapixel depth camera, and all that goes to be able to shoot at 8K, 24 or 30 frames. Now the 24 just kind of seems pointless in my opinion. It's just more of a marketing brand for cinematic video or whatever they want to call it. In my belief, the higher the better. So about 60 frames for recording, in my opinion, would be the best, and you can do that here at 4K even. So you can record at 30 and 60 4K, and then when it comes up to 1080p, if you want to drop it down in a resolution, you can do way more. So at 1080p, you can record at 30, 60, slow motion 120, 240, and 960 frames per second. Now it's not maybe as great as, for instance, Samsung's slow motion, where it does like 9,000 frames per second, where you basically can see stable colors flicker. That, for instance, you see, I don't know, lighting up, LED lighting up, it's basically flickering instead of being just a steady light. Or, for instance, when you're looking at your monitor, you can see literally the pixels change from one moment to another based on what is being displayed in a moving image. But still, 960, it's fairly good. Now, I'm not sure how it works in here, so let's see, where is that portrait? Slow motion, there we go. So right now it's set to 960. Now I'm not really sure how well that will work. So this is so it doesn't allow you to record steady or constant footage. It just captures that like 1 second and then slows it down. And there you can see some kind of weird like artifact thing. So you can see the letters are just getting wonky here. I assume this is something that can be fixed with an update, but right now it looks really weird. As you can see, the text is literally moving along with my hand. Just a quick test, I guess, of that. So yeah, downside, you don't have the 960 constant recording, but I believe if you drop it down to even 240, it will be, nope, it's actually still just a, looks like 10-second recording. Let's see how that looks like. Now this looks really nice actually, how smooth it is, and it also doesn't really do anything with the text here. So this works way better than the 960. So in this case, probably, nope, this also has 10 seconds. So you don't actually have the continuous recording in slow motion, so that's really a shame, I would say. And no reason for that not to be the case. And then, like I said before, we have the normal 8K. So right now there is the 8K, which based on the AI, I assume it just upscales the 4K. And you can see right here, you have the 8K 24, 30. Let's turn it off. So now we have 1080p, 60 and 30, and 4K 60 and 30. Now I can quickly, let me just quickly record some kind of 8 or 4K footage at, there we go, at 60 and see how that looks like. Just a quick kind of panning around in the office. Let's see how that came out. That works really well, honestly. I was expecting it to have some kind of stutters and stuff, but it worked surprisingly well. Now, usually when I have tried out different phones with 4K 60, the processor cannot handle it in a way, so it from time to time has a stutter, and it just looks really crap in my opinion in this case, where you have almost this fluid 60 frames, but then it just kind of like hicks up every once often, and it, in my opinion, just breaks the entire video. Okay, So moving on, we can go over the design of the device itself. So I have the red power button right here on the side, fingerprint mounted sensor, which I said before, and let's see how well it works. So it works really quickly, honestly. I was expecting it maybe not as quick as, for instance, OnePlus's. The OnePlus, what is it, 7 Pro? Had a blazing fast under display sensor, and it was really nice. This one is really close, but I don't think it's as good as the other one. Now it does seem to read my fingers fairly well. As you can see, it barely has, if I press it on the center, it almost always reads it. Now I do have to hold it for a little bit longer than just the top. And yeah, so let's go back. So at the top we have the retracting camera. The retracting camera, as you can see right here, along with a, I believe that might be a microphone. Although I might be wrong, not really sure what that is. Then we have the headphone jack, which is a surprise. On the bottom we have the charging port, speaker grills, and a SIM tray. Then on our left side of the device you only have the antenna bands, at least one of them right here. You can see that black, there we go. And then on the other side, like I said, we have the power key marked in red and volume buttons, along with 2 more antenna bands. And at the back you have a fairly nice design of Gorilla Glass with the circular camera, at least the protrusion is circular. The camera design is more of a X shape. And apart from that, the glass has a frosted design, I would say, which doesn't really attract fingerprints that much, I would say. Now it doesn't look great on the video, I would say. It kind of seems smudged up, but I think it's just wipe away from getting it basically off. Just a single wipe and it almost does the trick. And now it also seems like the protrusion did get some dust because of it now. But the back is fairly nice design. Really resembles the Mate, what was it, 30 Pro, with similar circular camera design. So last thing that I will look at is this hard case, as you can see. So this is fairly hard. Let's pop it in here. So that's how it looks like, and it looks like it gets the camera bump almost all the way down based on the case. So as you can see, it's almost seamless. There we go, it came on all the way now. And the casing is fairly nice. It has this weird texture here that you usually see on the inside instead of the outside, so the device won't be slipping around on whatever surface you put it on. And other than that, it just adds a little bit of bulk to the device, as you can see. Has this cutout also at the top, just so the camera can come out, and so you have access still to the headphone jack. And apart from that, it also has a lip right here, so if you want to place your phone like so, it won't get scratched up, the screen won't get scratched up on the surface. And then when it comes down to the device itself on the inside, it comes with an Android 10, so you get basically the latest Android. You still have Play Store, as you will see somewhere. There it is, Play Store. So you still can download your favorite apps, unlike other devices right now. And unfortunately, you do have a skin over it, so that's the MIUI or whatever it's called, 11. Now, personally, I'm not the greatest fan of the design of it. Some of their icons look a little bit childish, I would say, and I would prefer to have a stock Android. But then, once again, this is a fairly budget option, and for that budget, I guess you pay. So the Xiaomi can drop some of their apps in there and kind of get you in their ecosystem. Considering they do have a fairly big ecosystem, they probably want to rope you in there. So that, I would assume, is the reason why they stick with the MIUI 11. Now also just a thing to point out, the F1, the original one, also had their skin, so I'm just kind of pointing something that I would prefer to see, but it hasn't been the case before anyway. So it's not really like anything changed here. But yeah, apart from that, the device works as it should, as basically a flagship with a flagship specs with the mid-range price, I would call it. It costs about $500, so about half of any kind of other smartphone right now on the market. It might not have the best specifications in terms of, specifications, the best UI and support, I would say. It's made by Xiaomi, so if you love it, then you'll probably love this device. If you don't like their MIUI or whatever they have on there preloaded and how it works, then probably you won't like this thing. It's still the same. The only difference is it costs half as much as any kind of other flagship device, and basically has the same specs. And well, it's also lacking the SD slot, so you're kind of forced to get either the bigger storage or have the small one. And other than that, it comes with all the bells and whistles as any other device. So you have NFC, you have the UFS storages, basically everything that all the other devices have, apart from, at least from what I could see, the wireless charging. That's the only thing you don't get, which for the price, I'm willing to just part ways with wireless charging. I don't really care that much for it. But yeah, so this would conclude the brief overview of the device, and if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.